How's it going, everybody? Blades of God here from Hammer Bros Gaming, coming at you with the newest installment in our Gears Tactics, Immortal Legion Achievement Guide. If you're not familiar with the Immortal Legion Achievement, it basically tasks you with completing the entirety of the Gears Tactics campaign on the highest difficulty setting without losing a single unit in combat. You can dismiss units in the caravan between missions. I believe it's called the caravan. I can't recall off the top of my head. But you can dismiss your units, and that doesn't count against you. You just can't have any die while you're actually in a fight. If they do die, if you do happen to lose a unit, not a big deal. We can absolutely restart our checkpoint, restart the mission. Doesn't count against you at all, as long as you complete the final mission of the game with all your units alive, without having lost a unit at any point along the way. You should be golden, and the achievement should unlock. This mission is this video is going to cover the Act 3-3 main mission called Finders Keepers. In this mission, we're trying to find a vital component for the gas grenades we're building, and I'm not going to say why, because, spoilers if you haven't played the game yet. And maybe you're just looking ahead at videos, considering, well, do I want to play this game? I'm not going to ruin why we're doing what we're doing, but it's important. There's no new enemies to discuss or talk about in this mission. There's no new real tactics or strategies. So we do have a level up. Sid does get a level up and a couple of new skills, and we will discuss that in the video. But other than that, it's pretty much more of the same that we've been doing up to this point. So if you find this video helpful, if you found this video series helpful, please consider leaving a like for the video, leave a comment letting us know how we helped you out, and if you really, really feel generous, maybe you consider subscribing to Hammer Bros Gaming. It would really help us out, we'd appreciate it, and it'd help us get, out on the algorithm a little bit more. If you decide later on that you don't like our content anymore, you can always unsubscribe just as easily. But that's enough of me yammering, so I hope you guys enjoy the video, hopefully it helps you out, and let's get to it. Alright, so after the last mission, we had Sid level up, so we're going to use his 2 skill points. And taking a look here at what we want to get, the Avenger skill, it's not really useful because we don't want our allies to be taking damage at all. So we don't really, it's useful, but on the hardest difficulty, we don't want it. Rage Shot, again, it's not bad, but you need to take damage for Rage Shot to really be effective. Demoralize is okay, but not going to be super useful. Its Interrupt loses its positive status effects. But going through this tree, you can see we get the Charged Up skill when we get another level up. So that could definitely be worth it, along with Menacing Bayonet, which can actually be pretty helpful. And then there's Breach up here as well, and then Intimidate level 3. So both, a lot of useful skills up here, but is it worth, using the extra skill points to get to that point? Meanwhile, on the left side of your skill tree, we have the Hunker Down ability, we have Unnerve, we have Leech, Distraction. There's a lot of different things on this side. Self-Revive, which not really useful because if you get down but not out, well, if there is no down but not out, you just die when your health point's at 0. So at this point, it's kind of like, do you want to invest in the skills like Demoralize that we may not use to get to the skills that we do use? Or do we want, Hunker Down and things that are going to be more effective? Well, I'll end the suspense. We go with Demoralize, we go with Intimidate level 2. We don't use them very often, but our next level up, it's going to set us up really nicely for some awesome skills on our next level up. So you see here we got the Delta Straps, the Epic Delta Straps, which is an upgrade over the rare Delta Straps that he was using. So Sid's going to get some new straps. And because we've got a new helmet, we're actually going to skip over to Michaela, since she's our primary sniper, and see what we got. We've got the Advanced Optics, which is going to give us 20% critical hit damage, or, I'm sorry, 30% with the new helmet. So she was running the Onyx Retro helmet, it just makes sense to give her the upgraded version, so she now has 7% evasion and the Advanced Optics skill. Always really nice when you can upgrade your primary character's equipment. We're going to take a look at Marcella. We did have a new Impact Grip, which is better damage and Disrupt. We love having the Disrupt skill. And Expertise is good when she's doing solo runs. So we're going to actually leave that alone for now because we haven't been using her shotgun all that much. She's primarily been using frag grenades and the landmines, or the proximity mines. So we don't really need to worry about her having Disrupt on her primary weapon. You can see here Sid is actually banned, and Gabe and Michaela are both required for this mission. Complete the mission in 15 or less turns. Shouldn't be a really big problem. And you can see that we have Marcella in here already. We have Alejandro in here. And Alejandro is sort of a... You could go with him. He is effective. But for this mission, I'm actually going to go ahead and bring in another sniper. not last mission, but the mission before, we ran with Grady, Ogre, Ladette, so we know that he's going to work fairly well. Taking a look at Gabe's skills, we have Teamwork level 1, Surge, High Powered Shot level 2, Distracting Fire, Revved Up, Chainsaw Rush, Weak Point. We have Chainsaw Attack Mastery and Power level 1, and Command. Looking at his Lancer, we have the Sleek Stock equipped for 10% crit chance. We have the Expert Mag for 7% accuracy and 1 ammo. We have the Master Scope with the passive skill of Expertise, which allows the skills to cool down by 1. We have the Rare Power Barrel for plus 30 damage. Then looking at the pistol, he has the Rare Snub for 30 damage and 7% accuracy. He has default frag grenades. He's running a rare Onyx helmet for 5% evasion and the Optics skill. His chest rig is the Commando Vest for 7% evasion and potential. We do like those skills being recharged and abilities recharged faster. The Hunter Braces for 7% evasion and the passive skill of Glory. So that can be helpful. And I'm just going to really quickly scroll down, find that I don't have anything better, so we're just going to run Gabe with that setup. Michaela and Marcella are both going to stay pretty much exactly the same as they were in the last mission. And then Grady, we have Ultimate Shot, Fast Fingers level 2, Chain Shot level 2, Active Reload, and Sharpshooter. So very similar to Michaela's setup. Looking at his long shot, we have the Padded Stock for 40% crit damage. We have the Sleek Bolt for 5% crit chance. Looking at his scope, we have the Precision Scope for 5% accuracy, and then we have the Wrap Barrel for 30% damage. And again, I'm just going to do a quick check. I don't have anything really better to give him, so we're going to run with that. Pistol, he has the Common Pistol, regular frags, I'm not going to show that. He has the Onyx Retro Helm, which is common, 3% evasion and advanced optics. We're going to bump that up to the rare Onyx Retro Helm, the one that Michaela was just using. So he's going to get a little bit of a bump there. The rare Onyx Shell for 7% evasion and all out, which increases your damage dealt and received by 10%. Not a bad skill to use as long as you can, keep yourself out of harm's way, which is really good for snipers actually. And then he's got the Cadet Shin Guards with the Sleek skill and the 20% health, 5% damage for this turn when you move, so not terribly bad. I'm just going to check and see if I've got something else that I'd rather have him running, but I really don't. So that's going to be it, and we are going to go ahead and deploy into the mission. So, again, we're kind of getting to the point where things are getting a little more challenging. We're going to have a little bit better meshing of enemy types where you're going to have a lot of support units. And it's going to get to be a little bit... Well, it's going to become a pain, I'll be honest with you. This mission isn't too bad, but moving forward, the rest of these can get very, very complicated, very challenging, like I said. So don't be afraid to fail. You may not get through each one of these missions on your first turn, and that's fine. So back to the mission itself, we're going to take cover behind this tank, and you can see all of these tickers just like lined up, just begging for somebody to take a shot at them. So we're going to do that, actually. We're going to have Michaela come over here, and we're going to take a shot. 57% hit chance is not very high, but it was high enough. We just took a bunch of those tickers off the board at once, and that's just fantastic. So I'm going to hide her behind this piece of cover here, and then I'm going to run Gabe up top, right next to Marcella, and Grady's going to take cover behind this, kind of little box thing. Now I'm going to wait and see what the enemy does and play off of that. So you can see we get some Overwatch happening here. Not too big of a deal. Unfortunately, that enemy did Overwatch both Gabe and Marcella, but that's okay because we have Michaela who we can use to knock him out of his Overwatch. Again, only 64% hit chance because I'm not on an elevated position, which in the last mission was extremely useful. But I was able to put some damage on him. Unfortunately, it wasn't a critical hit, so he didn't get knocked out of the Overwatch. But that's why we like to use scouts. They have that cloak ability, and it won't trigger the Overwatch ability. So we're going to use a grenade, take him out of commission. That's going to free up Gabe, and now Gabe's able to move around, do what he needs to do. We're going to come over here. We're going to grab this epic pickup because, again, we want to pick up as many of these epic cases as possible, simply because we want to have all the inventory. We want to have all of the kit pieces available that we can. It just diversifies what we're able to do with our characters and potentially can make things much simpler for us, in the coming missions. So we're going to move Grady up with his long shot. 30% hit chance, not great. I'd rather not waste the ammo, so instead I'm going to go ahead and go into Overwatch. I'm betting he's going to move up and try to advance on us, hence the Overwatch cone to that piece of cover. But we'll have to wait and see if that pays off. And we're just going to end it right there. So unfortunately, this happens sometimes when you get down to one enemy in an area. They just do this foolish little stutter step where they just take a couple of steps in one direction and then go right back into their Overwatch, even if they're not in cover. They just kind of stand there. And you can see he's doing it again. And I'm not really comfortable moving my units up because there's not really a very good place to set up. But I realize that, you know, this is just going to be a stalemate. He's not going to advance. I can't really advance. So we're going to go to work and do the best we can. And apparently the best we can do is a critical shot headshot that takes him off the board. So whole lot of worrying about nothing. We're going to advance Gabe, and we're going to just we're going to get to the gate. We're going to open up the gate. It's not really the halfway point of the mission like these gates normally are. This is like the 15% of the way through the mission checkpoint in this mission. So don't get too excited. You're not halfway through the woods yet. So basically, these next turns aren't going to be anything fancy. We're just using the maximum action points to move as far up as we can to try to get to that control panel and get that door open. On lower difficulties, I always like to burn a couple of turns here, let my skills recharge, but I would not recommend it on the higher difficulties. If you spend too much time by one of these doors, the game will actually have Reavers drop boomers directly on top of you, and I tell you, even though the boomers can't really do anything on their first turn being dropped in, it's almost impossible on this difficulty to take out 2 boomers, even with a full complement of action points. So don't dilly-dally and get to the gate, get it open, and just prevent the headache of having boomers drop in on you. So here we go. We're going to move through the gates here. There's really not a whole lot to do right now. We're going to go to work with Michaela, try to get a couple of shots off, but you can see, you know, it was a narrow margin of success. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my enemies. I'm sorry. I'm going to set up my units in the best defensive positions possible and try to make sure that I can at least weather this coming turn where the enemy is going to start advancing on me. You can see I sort of spread them out in a staggered formation, the idea being I'm going to be able to cover multiple angles in multiple places. Plus, if one of my units or 2 of my units gets overwatched, I should have a couple of units free who are able to assist and free them up from the overwatch. So you can see we got wretches, we got grenadiers, we got rifle drones, we got Cantus, snipers. There's a real mixed bag of enemies here, and the sniper is going to pin one of my units. Not a big deal. They really made pin to be a much more dangerous, I guess, skill than it is, because once that sniper pinned me, he's not going to do anything for the rest of this match until either I break his pin or I move the unit who is pinned and get shot. And since on this difficulty it'll probably kill me, I'm not going to try moving my unit. Instead, I'm going to use Michaela. I'm going to take out the sniper who's pinning me. Then I'm going to try to go to work on these wretches. Again, because I'm not on high ground, I'm not getting that high ground advantage bonus. But you know what doesn't need a high ground advantage bonus? Grenades. So we're going to use grenades. And we are going to try to destroy these wretches by blowing them up. So you can see I'm looking for the best angle here. Again, I'm going to try and, like I have done in previous missions, I was trying to get the right angle to get the grenade to bounce so I could get all 3 of these wretches in one grenade. And there it is. I had to move up a little bit, but it's definitely doable. 1, 2, 3, goodbye wretches. And from there, I got 1 skill point left. I'm going to close off this pathway and force the enemies to either walk over that proximity mine or go all the way around and stay further away from me, which isn't a bad thing when you're fighting grenadiers. So I'm going to move Grady up, my other sniper, and try to do a little bit of work on some of these guys. Only 10% hit chance, I don't like that, so I'm going to overwatch and try to double down on the protection that frag grenade, that proximity mine is offering. Gabe's going to move up, and again, I don't really have any high hit chances, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep laying down these overwatch cones with the idea that if anything tries to advance on me, it now has 2 overwatch cones and a proximity mine to get through. So there we go. You know, that's pretty much what I had in mind. He took a shot from the sniper, plus he ran into the grenade. 2/3 of that grenadier's health is gone, which is just fantastic, because that means that I most likely will be able to take him out on this turn. We're going to get the run and gun ability with Michaela by moving her up a little bit. We're also going to bump up her hit chance to 100%. 47% crit hit chance isn't that bad. I mean, it's basically flip of a coin. Unfortunately, you know, I called heads and the coin came up tails. I didn't get the crit hit there, but I did use my ultimate shot ability, and when I downed him, I got 3 additional action points. So I'm able to basically reload Michaela. I get another shot on the Grenadier, taking away his reactionary ability, but increasing his damage resistance with the Berserk skill. And this time when I fire at him, I actually do get the critical hit that I needed. So now both Grenadiers are knocked out of commission, which is great. Gabe, again, you know, he is going to use the Empower, just like we've used many times in this run. That Empower and Surge abilities, they are fantastic when used in tandem with each other. So I'm going to Surge and have Marcella's abilities reset. That way she has her Frag Grenade ready to go. She has Proximity Mine, everything else ready to go. I'm going to teamwork with Marcella, so now any kills that I get are actually going to give Gabe additional skill points. And I'm going to move up with Marcella, and I'm going to use my Frag Grenade to try to take both Grenadiers and that enemy unit in cover off the map. So I'm even able to hit the Cantus, I believe that's a Cantus, in cover behind that rock. So good grenade throw, knock that Cantus out of cover. Teamwork gives Gabe an extra skill point, and I'm able to use Empower on Marcella again to give her an additional action point. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to cloak her. She's way out, she's overextended, way too far away from all the rest of the allies. And we want to make sure that she's safe, so cloaking her is definitely going to do that unless there's an errant grenade thrown or something like that. So I'm down to just 2 action points with Grady and 2 with Gabe. So I'm going to move these guys up a little bit, try to get some better angles, and sort of thread the needle between, or walk the line between being close enough to engage the enemies and far enough away that they're not going to want to engage me. Grady, I'm going to take a chance here and use the chain shot skill, trying to take that DBNO enemy off the map and give him a few more action points, but it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, so I kind of wasted that skill, which isn't great. Gotta wait for it to cool down now. I'm going to move Gabe up, and since that's really the only enemy left on the board, that Cantus, I'm going to go ahead and, bit of a risky move, I really want to get that epic case, but I realize that I've got a cloaked enemy, or a cloaked ally right here, so why not take advantage of that. I'm going to use her, I believe it's Demolition Expert, which allows her to use proximity mines without uncloaking. I'm going to set up the proximity mine on the Cantus, that way when he moves, he won't be able to move very far. And then I'm going to shoot, and my hope is that I was going to knock him back, and if I had Disrupt on my shotgun, it would have knocked him back, and then it would have triggered the proximity mine. But because I didn't equip the right accessory on the Nasher, I don't have Disrupt, so he didn't get knocked back, and it wasn't a critical hit. But that's okay, because the next time the Cantus goes to move, pretty much no matter what he does, he's going to get blown up by that proximity mine. And I'm just going to make doubly sure by throwing this Frag Grenade, which will make him move, and then I'm going to have the proximity mine detonate, and that takes the Cantus off the board. There are no enemies on the battlefield right now, so I am free and clear to move wherever I need to move and get done whatever I need to get done. I'm going to have Grady come over here, and he's going to pick up that epic case, and that just leaves Michaela, who's way kind of behind everybody else right now. She's going to use all of her action points and move up as far as she can. At this point, we're just trying to make it to the case, the mission objective, and once we do, we're going to have some more enemies drop in. But honestly, there's not much else to say right now. I don't want to open up that case just yet, because if I do, I'm going to have enemies drop in, and I would be all by myself way up top there. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my time, I'm going to move my units up a little bit at a time, get everybody into position, and then use a unit to open the objective case after I get my units in position. So Gabe is going to stand by, he's going to be the one to open the case when the time comes. I'm going to have Michaela and Grady set up on this sort of, I don't know, raised platform. I don't know what it's supposed to be in the lore, but it looks like maybe a support structure or an observation structure or something. But the reason I'm doing that is because to the north, if you look at the top of the screen right now is north, the enemies are going to, the reinforcements are going to drop in up there. So I want to make sure that I have coverage for where those enemies are going to be. So you can see I got my 2 snipers there. I'm going to have Marcella move up, and she's going to grab this epic case on the next turn. Oh, actually, no, Gabe's going to grab it because he doesn't have anything else to do. So Gabe's going to grab that, then I'm going to have him move back, and then I'm going to move Marcella up. This is, again, not... It's a little bit of a waste of time, but it's also not, because I'm letting my skills recharge. I'm getting my units into position to engage the enemy that I know is coming down. So you can see I'm going to move Marcella all the way up to these stairs, because this area up here is also the exit. So it's both the exit and where the enemies are going to spawn in. And now that I got all my units in place, I'm going to go ahead and have Gabe open up the case. This is the mission objective. There we go. Just kind of laying out in the middle of the battlefield. We got what we needed. So now we just have to fight our way to the exit. So here we go. You can see, boom, right there is the exit. That's the extraction point that we have to get to. But of course, nothing's ever that easy, right? I mean, you can't just waltz out of here. In previous runs, I have tried setting up all 3 of my additional units up there in the extraction point, but the way the enemies come in, you end up being surrounded, so do not try to rush it and get right to the extraction point before you retrieve the case, because you're going to get mowed down. Just trust me, unless you're playing on a lower difficulty, it's just not going to work. So you can see I'm going to overwatch with my 2 snipers. I've got my grenade user right up close, and there we go. There's the enemies. They're coming in. You can see that they've got a lot of field of fire there, so if you're too far up, they're going to rip you apart very easily. And unfortunately, with only 36% hit chances, it's not like I've got a lot of options as far as using my snipers right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cloak with Marcella. That gives me, because of the free cloak ability, I still have 3 action points. I'm going to move over here behind this box, because this box is on the side that I'm on, is just outside of that overwatch zone. Frag grenade is going to interrupt that overwatch and knock him out of cover. Then I'm going to set a proximity mine on him to make sure that he really can't do anything. And then I'm going to just hide behind my little box here and be relatively safe. 49% hit chance with 67% crit. That's not bad, but again, 50-50 chance essentially, and I missed the first time, hit the second time, third time, missed the third time. So, you know, pretty even luck there. It wasn't like I got unreasonably good or unreasonably bad luck. I'm going to go to work with Brady. Again, miss. These hit chances only about a third, and sometimes I feel like that's misleading because I just went, you know, 0 for 3. Actually, no, I think I downed him, didn't I? Yeah, so that drone went DBNO with that last shot from Grady. So, you know what? Again, not unreasonably good, not unreasonably bad luck. 1 for 3, and it was a hit. So there we go. The proximity mine did its job. I took another enemy off the board, and we've got a few more guys who are moving up. There's a lot here, and the really kind of bad part is that if you take too long, more reinforcements do drop in. So you've got to clean these guys up relatively quickly and make your way to the extraction zone before the new reinforcements show up. So here we are. You see we get Grady. He's reloading with his active reload. That's an additional 25% damage. I got a 10% hit chance there, which is just abysmal. Marcella's not really able to do very much, but I can use the surge ability, and you see I almost used it on the wrong person. So we're going to have Marcella now has her frag grenade and her proximity mine available. So we're going to go to work using grenades. Unfortunately, again, I am just shy of being able to get the grenade far enough to blow up the drones who are hunkered. So we're going to teamwork with her because I am that confident I'm going to be able to get kills here. We're going to move up to this box, which is just outside the overwatch zone. We're going to use the, I believe, the old proximity mine frag grenade trick. Or, nope, we're just going to go with straight frag grenades. Okay. So that'll take out the down but not out enemy and the overwatching enemy. Or I can try to drop a frag right between these guys and get both kills just like that. This is a very, very precise. You can see me moving the cursor back and forth just a little bit, and because a little bit too far left or right, and I would have lost one of the kills. But thankfully, I was able to get it just right. I get the teamwork skill with Gabe. I still have 1 skill point left, so I'm going to go ahead and set my proximity mine right between these guys. That way, when that goes off, that down but not out enemy is going to be taken off the board. Now, I have my Empower skill with Gabe, and I'm going to try and give Marcella another skill point. Again, because I used Surge earlier, Marcella has all of her abilities that she didn't use this turn active. That means that her cloak ability is fair game, and that's going to keep her nice and safe. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cloak with Marcella. That's going to keep her out of the line of sight of the enemies and make sure that she doesn't get shot at or downed or, you know, killed. But because I do have the free cloak ability, I am going to now have an additional action point, and I'm basically going to just hide. I'm trying to figure out where the best place to go is, and I'm just going to hide right where I'm at. I'm going to use the anticipation skill because that means on my next turn I'm going to get an additional action point at the start of my turn, which that works out fine. That means that I'm going to be able to move more, mix it up a little bit better, and it just, again, it gives me that extra tool in the bag, so to speak, if I need to do something something extra that would require more distance or an extra shot. Anyway, so back to what I was doing. Again, Michaela and Grady, they're sitting up on this this raised building, this raised platform. There's not much else we can do except take pot shots at these guys, so we're going to go ahead and do that and try to thin the herd a little bit more before I move Gabe up to assist Marcella. My hope is that the enemies are going to keep pushing down towards me so I don't have to worry about advancing on them. You can see that proximity mine did its job perfectly, knocked a couple of people out of their movement, and you can see right there, enemy reinforcements incoming. So that is sort of like, alright, you need to get going here, because those reinforcements are going to drop in behind where we are now, and we're going to end up getting sandwiched. So you can see here that the extra point from anticipation really came in handy, because now I still can fire my gun twice, plus I'm in position where I'm nice and close to these enemies. It just worked out really well. Unfortunately, I missed my shot, not once, but twice, and I lost my cloak. So now it's like kind of a very high stress situation because Marcella is completely exposed. There's really not a lot she can do to protect herself because she's out of action points. I put all my eggs in the shotgun basket and that did not work. But we're going to have Gabe run up here, and he's going to use his frag grenade. He's going to at least take one of these guys off the map. There we go. He also injured another one. But we're still not out of the woods because we've got a sniper. I believe that's a sniper. It might be a rifle drone. Back there in a trench, we've got a down but not out enemy, and we've got one on his feet. Grady and Marcella are both, 75% hit chance. He's way out in the open. Not bad. But they're still way far away to offer any real support. You can see I've got line of sight on the additional enemy, but I'm not going to chance it. I know that I've got reinforcements coming in behind me. They're going to drop in by Reaver, which means that they're not going to be able to act the turn they come in. It's not like the Emergent Souls where they can act on their first turn. But this could have been really bad. So the sniper only pinned Marcella instead of shooting at her. And you can see right here, we got two drones. I think it's a rifle drone, a disciple, and a boomer. So that's a lot of firepower that just got dropped in behind you. And if you needed motivation to get to the exit, this is a fantastic motivation. So we're in pretty good shape right now. With that sniper being pinned, like I said earlier in this guide, he really won't do anything. I mean, he's going to just sit there with Marcella pinned until the very, very basically end of this level. Until I move Marcella and he fires, or until I break line of sight with between the sniper and Marcella, that sniper isn't going to do a darn thing. So I'm going to set up my guys, move them closer to the extraction point, and try to make it work out so I can get Marcella freed up and into the extraction zone in the same turn, or kill the sniper and get Marcella to the extraction zone in the same turn. Because you can see these guys are really, they're not wasting any time. They're making a beeline towards me. Thankfully, there is quite a bit of distance there, so they can't really fire at me at all. But it's not going to take too many more turns, and that's going to change. They're going to be able to start taking pot shots. So we're close enough now with the free cloak ability. You can see Cloak broke the line of sight from the sniper. I'm going to run Marcella into the extraction zone. I'm going to run Michaela into the extraction zone. And there goes Grady. So we made it through this without any damage taken. We made it through Act, I believe this was 3-3. And we're getting close to the end, guys. So we completed the mission, the main objective. We failed the optional objective. We're going to open up these cases and show you guys what we got for new loot. And that's going to be the end of the video. We'll show you what we got for E.X.P. I don't think anybody gets a level up on this mission, which is a bit of a bummer. But you know what? It's fine. Our skill set's pretty good. Yeah, like I said, no one got a level up, which is fine. Our skill set's pretty decent right now. Michaela and Marcella did a lot of the heavy lifting. They did pretty much all the heavy lifting except Gabe, who chipped in with 1 kill. The roster size has increased to 17. Let's open up these cases. You guys can take a look, and that'll be the end of the video. Take care, everyone. Until next time, bye-bye. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. You can also check us out on Twitch at Hammer Bros Gaming. I am Blades of God, and until next time, have a great day, everyone.